Greetings, everybody. This is Ravananun once again, representing Awakening Universal Minds on TalkShoe.com every Thursday at 9 p.m. Once again, representing Awakening Universal Minds on TalkShoe.com every Thursday at 9 p.m. I also go by the name of Dark Occultist 99. Today we will be discussing Dark Sorcery. First, when you hear the word darkness, if evil and wrong, bad, creepy, monstrous, demonic things come to your mind, unfortunately you still are caught up under some religious ideologies or ideologies. I say ideology, short for idiot. Ideologies in your mind. Unfortunately, religion, society, the media, all promote darkness as being wrong, evil, bad, something to be afraid of. But you were conceived in the womb of your mother, which was in total darkness. Or as someone like to say, triple stage darkness. The 3 trimesters of a pregnancy. You essentially are a dark, chaotic being. Sex in its primal, raw state is chaos. There is a penis entering a vagina, and it's causing friction. It's causing raw primal energy to surface or rise from the root. Some call it the root chakra. Some call it the serpent seat. To rise all the way to your crown or the top of your head. Essentially, sorcery, some call it magic, but sorcery is the manipulation of your objective world from your subjective world, meaning your subconscious mind, which in large part helps create your reality, is manipulated by your sorceress works. Much of dark sorcery, dark magic, the dark arts, black arts, is to manipulate or reprogram and decondition your subconscious mind. And in order to tap into your subconscious mind, you have to be able to create rituals that will open up your subconscious mind. 99% of that work will be done in the dark, with the aid usually of some black candles or black and red candles. Now, what is the key functioning aspect or perspective? Well, let me say act. What is the key functioning aspect that is necessary for results when you are working sorcery? First of all, one of the keys is desire. That's the first key of sorcery, is desire. Your desire should be so focused, so strong, that the longer it prolongs or it takes for your desire to become manifest or a result the more painful it becomes for you. Now, this is important to understand because you can have an intent or intention when you do your ritual, but if it's not fueled by strong desire, you get half-assed results. Your desire is the key for sorcery to be worked. Let's say, and I get this question quite often, you want to do some work to attract, for the females, a man, and for the men to attract a female, and whatever other gender you're attracted to. That's your choice. On a side note, on a left-hand path, you should be challenging society's moralities, society's borders, boundaries, and limitations. And if you're not doing that and you're still in a mindset where you still feel you have to confine somebody's sexual preference or gender as wrong, not right, unnatural, then you're still confined within what would be termed society's morality, conditioning, and programming. First of all you have to do is do intent research. When you go into human sexuality and certain psychological books that have been written on human sexuality, it has been proven through clinical studies that 2 to 3% of the world population is genetically predisposed to be homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, and whatever else may occur from there. That 2 to 3%, although it's not the norm, it is a natural occurrence. So for an individual to be on the left-hand path and limit their views as if this occurrence is unnatural, no, it's natural, it's just not the norm. And we cannot put our personal opinions and perspectives on this as being the ultimate truth. Yeah, sure, that's your perception, your perspective, but you alienate people when we come forth and we say that we do not agree with homosexuality. I don't give a fuck if you fuck a bird, or you want to fuck a big girl, or you want to fuck whatever. That's your choice sexually, what you want to do, and it's your experience. My perception and opinion should not matter to you about what your sexual experiences are. Your sexual experiences are what is necessary for your path, for your growth, and for your transformation. So, regardless what anybody says, you do your shit the way you feel you need to do your shit, and you rock on doing your shit the way you feel you need to do that. It's irrelevant what anybody else has to say about that. But on the left-hand path, I do not limit myself to any morality based upon religion, society, family, or culture. I try to expand beyond borders, boundaries, and restrictions, rules, limitations. Now, do not misinterpret it as doing illegal things. Anytime you are indulging in something that is what you feel is necessary for your growth, stay within legal bounds. Do not hem yourself up by doing anything illegal. So, now that that sidebar is over, let me get to desire. If you are desiring, attracting somebody for sexual, relationship, whatever purpose, if your desire for that individual is so strong that if you do not get that individual, your body goes through sexual pain. That pain or that urge is so strong that it makes your body ache for that person. If you are sexually frustrated to the point that you feel like you are ready to explode, that working of that desire, when released in an orgasmic state, the vibrations, frequencies propel that intention, that desire to hit its target and its mark clearly and powerfully. So when you work sorcery beginning with the first step, desire. Check your desire. Take an inventory on your desire. How strong is your desire to manifest what you would like to manifest? Now, all sorcery, magic, whatever, has its basics. It's candles. It's it's symbols. It's incantations. It's circles, opening or closing. It's banishing. Things of that nature are all pretty much done across the board. Some are done less, some are done not at all. But there are pretty much these perspectives seen across the board in magic, sorcery, whatever the case may be. What you have to do is figure out what works best for you. Because your desire is fueling your work. And to fuel that work even more, what tools are necessary to propel that desire even further? So, always find the proper tools to utilize when working your sorcery. Preferably myself, I like to use red and black candles. Red for the passion, for the desire. Black to absorb that desire and emanate or send forth that desire. And it is very beneficial when you combine the two candles in your workings. Now, why is the subconscious mind so important? Well, it's necessary to understand that your subconscious mind is basically what records most of the things that happen in your life and keeps it in a computer file, let's say, for a long length of time, sometimes for the rest of your life. So if an event or situation occurred in your life that has caused strife for the rest of your life, if you tap into your subconscious mind and pinpoint that exact situation, you can start to reverse the flow of the effects of that situation and your behavioral pattern that was created from that situation. Also, understand that when you work sorcery, it's not about good or bad, right or wrong. None of that shit is relevant. It's all the same thing. Your perception on what and how something affects you or doesn't. So, you call that good or bad. But in reality, that does not exist. So when you work your sorcery and you find your target, what is the best time to manipulate your target? Now, please, religious people, spooky ass motherfucking conscious people, fucking spooky ass lightsiders, cut the shit. Everything is manipulating everything in existence. From neutrons, protons, and electrons, matter to you and your girlfriend manipulating one or another at some point or situation for something or something not. Everything is manipulating something else. Now, you spooky lightsiders, overly natural, spooky ass conscious coons, listen. Nature. You want to love nature so much, but do you really understand nature? I doubt it. Because you think you're not manipulating, destroying, or anything else. Yes, you are. If you're growing food and you create a garden, you manipulated the soil from its original structure and its original form into a form that you felt would best produce fruit, vegetables, or whatever else you're growing. You manipulated it by using tools, whether you call it rakes or hoes or whatever you're using, to cultivate the land to produce something for your benefit to digest. You did not just walk up to a tree and pluck a fruit, which even then is manipulation because you're taking something from its original state and utilizing it for substance or sustenance. Okay? So cut the bullshit. When you get to that spooky, overly spiritual, overly natural mental state of straight garbage that leads to delusions. Everything is manipulating everything. Now, if you work sorcery, you understand that your target is also being manipulated by your intention, desires, and the best time to work, people, the best time to work your sorcery is between 12 and 4 a.m. 12 midnight and 4 a.m. Why? Usually people are asleep, reaching higher or deeper levels of sleep. So their subconscious mind is more open or receptive at that time to receive impressions from your sorcery, your magic, and it affects that individual and seeps into their subconscious mind and starts to leave a seed that, when watered properly, continues to grow. So there is a intention of your target finding the right timing, which is the second key step in sorcery, finding the right timing to affect the intended target to bring about your results, your intended result. So the best time is midnight to 4. Now, some of y'all may say, "But yeah, I'm asleep," or we're sun people, we're people of the sun. Yes, we are. But what you don't understand is, by Nubian or melanated people, we were more than just people of the sun. So, timing is everything. I'm not talking about the full moon, the waning moon, the waxing moon. Those can be utilized as well. But timing insofar as the states of sleep and things of that nature. Now, people of the sun, let me get back to that. We were diurnal people. We were not just people of the sun, meaning we were worshiping the sun and always about the sun. Now, the reason why, and for you conscious people who need verification and all this other shit, if you go to some of our older shows when we had Dr. Phil Valentine, he mentioned that one of the purposes of us being in the sun was to increase the amount of serotonin that was produced. To do the real workings or the spiritual workings in the evening or nighttime. Why was that important to be out in the sun to help raise our levels of serotonin? Because serotonin converts to melatonin in the evening, and melatonin is necessary and helpful for activating your pineal gland to vibrate at a higher frequency to have greater results in your spiritual workings. So our ancestors, which are so commonly used by conscious people, our ancestors were more diurnal than they were just people of the sun. They were nocturnal creatures as well, and most of their rituals, 99% of the rituals done either in Kemet, West Africa, South Africa, were done in the night. When your melatonin levels become abundant because of the abundancy you had of serotonin produced from being out in the sun during the day, your workings became more powerful in the evening, in the night. And the sorcery or magic that was partaken in during the night became more powerful with greater results. So when you understand this process, you understand that you have to work the alchemy on yourself. What is good to utilize is your vitamin Bs, B3, 6, and 12. CoQ10 is essential. You can use different herbs that help in this process. But all of it is necessary for internal alchemy that helps affect spiritual alchemy. And sorcery is another form of alchemy. It is manipulating the elements, the mental realm, spiritual realm, and the physical realm to produce results that are necessary for your growth and transformation. This is the essential aspect of dark sorcery. Working sorcery for your greater results. But when I mean greater results, I'm not just talking about money, car, house. Those are essentials that you need to survive day to day. No. Dark sorcery is about spiritual alchemy, mental alchemy, inner alchemy. It's challenging yourself or transforming yourself to be greater than you were yesterday. It is not making excuses for your habits, your bad habits. It's not making excuses for your delusions. It's not making excuses for your certain situation in life. I hear all this bullshit about Trump. Listen, motherfuckers. Let me put it plainly. Regardless who the fuck is president, you still have work to do to survive day to day, to master yourself, and to create a better life for you. Trump cannot personally interfere in your everyday life. If you think so, you're very fucked up and deluded. Okay? You are the master of your life. You create your life every day. And the more you work on your subconscious mind and reprogram that shit and decondition it and create a new programming that is totally controlled by you, the more you create a life that you have seen fit and necessary since you were projecting your goals, long-term and short-term goals in this life. But as long as you want to sit there and live in an objective world and never take care of the subjective and then get fucked royally in the ass without grease by the objective world because you want to blame everybody around you but yourself and take responsibility for your ways and actions, then you will consistently and continually suffer and be miserable, broke ass people. Take responsibility for your success and your failures. The hardest part for people to do on a left-hand path or any path is take responsibility for their failures. In dark sorcery, we tap into the life current. That life current, whether you call it chi, prana, sechem, the Tao, whatever it may be. That life energy, the life current, we utilize that in all of our workings. We utilize that to activate ourselves, to absorb energy. And I'm going a little bit into vampirism right now, which is all part of dark sorcery. You absorb energy from everything around you. Don't get it twisted now. Vampirism is not just absorbing energy from people. It is absorbing energy from the trees, absorbing energies from the dark current that runs through the earth. It's absorbing energy from the moon, moon reflects energy from the sun, so you're really absorbing energy from the sun, but also the energy that is reflected from the moon, you're absorbing that energy. You're absorbing energy from everything around you that you're able to absorb to charge yourself up, to help activate that black flame within you, to raise that kundalini, and to charge up every chakra and bring forth that dark current that is already innate within you, and to utilize that dark energy to create some real hot shit in this society for yourself. Now, one of the things you have to understand is that this life current is abundant everywhere. The trees utilize your oxygen. The trees utilize your carbon dioxide to produce oxygen, which you then absorb that oxygen and then produce more carbon dioxide. You understand, we're absorbing all the time. Nature does it. You're a part of nature. You do it too. Get that shit right in your head. It's not something wrong. It's not something evil. People do this all the time. When you're having sex, this is one of the most profound and important times when that sexual energy, that vampiric side of yourself, comes and absorbs that sexual energy from your partner and charges yourself up. It's a whole nother secret science to that. Well, it's not really secret, but it's a science to that I share for those who are really interested on how to really work that vampiric sexual magic on a whole nother level. So understand now, this life current is everywhere and should be utilized. When you raise that life current within you and you're working your ritual, that life current energy that is now charged within you fuels your intention even more with that desirous part of yourself. And that life current and the desire propels that shit out to hit its intended target with profound power and force behind it. So you understand that the life current is essential in everything you do. It says here in the Sechem of Pep, which is Typhonian Vampire magic, that the blood current, also called Chi organ energy and life force energy, is subtle source of power for the vampiric black adept. This energy is consumed on various levels by a combination of both dream projection and physical contact. Every day you shake somebody's hand, there's an exchange of energy. Every day you touch somebody, there's an exchange of energy. The masters know how to cultivate that energy, absorb it, and utilize it to increase their power. The servant is the one getting their energy absorbed. A black adept never will suck you dry and take all your energy, because that would be counterproductive. So understand that you have to be precise and wise when and how you utilize this life current energy. Furthermore, when you are utilizing this energy, regardless what the source of this energy is from, you manipulate that energy and use that energy according to your will. Your will directs the energy to be utilized the way you want. It's just not freestyling it and so let me see how this works and see how it does. No. Now, a key part is that sound, utilizing sound in your sorcery is key. From the beginning of time, sound, whether it was in Kemet, where you had Ta, Atum, or one of the various creator deities in Kemet, sound helped create life. You go into the Dravidian or Indian perspective, sound, the sound of Om, helped create life. That's important to understand because sound has vibration, frequency, and it's considered to the ancients almost like nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. It is creating matter, antimatter, causing movements of electrons, protons, and neutrons to create or manifest something into reality. Now, sound itself is important to the flow of energy in the human body. It is also a key practice when you're working your sorcery. This is why in our African traditions, in our Native American traditions, the drum was essential for any sorcerous or magical workings. The rhythm of the drum eventually created an altered state of consciousness and created a fever pitch where you were able to manipulate the physical realm and open a gateway to a new dimension or the spiritual realm. You were able to tap in and make contact with your ancestors. People, when I say ancestors, please do not conscious coon this shit out. Your ancestors are your bloodline. Grandma, granddad, on and so forth and so forth. We're not generalizing saying ancestors as if Imhotep was my homeboy from down the street who passed away, and really that homeboy I'm referring to is my cuz or my brother, whatever. No, I'm not saying that. That's generalized ancestral connection where people want to just be so spooky spiritual and say, oh, my ancestors, and generalize like the Neteru, which are archetypes, or the Orisha, which are just archetypes, or whatever else are archetypes, metaphors for a collective conscious perspective of higher states of consciousness or personality type that we tap into but are not real true existing beings. When I say ancestors, I'm talking about your granddad, your grandma, great-granddad, great-grandma, or whoever else in your family has passed. So, in our drumming rituals, we were able to contact our ancestors in this way. However, we understood that at the archetype energy, let's say if you were working with Zarabanda and Palo, or Baun Samdi in Voodoo or Voodoo, you are tapping into the archetype, the collective consciousness that created the personality type and the attributes that your true self, some call it higher self, your true self will utilize the metaphor of that archetype to essentially download information or download that energy into you. People call it being ridden or riding a horse, okay, in these African traditions we have. And that archetype then, through your true self, utilizing those metaphors and attributes to reveal information and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that was necessary for you or anybody else at that moment. So the drum would help bend space, matter, and time to bring these different dimensions together to mesh into that moment of the ritual or the ceremony being taken place to create a new vibration and cause a new reaction. So what happens is when you learn to master sound or work with sound, whether you do, for example, one of the vampiric goddesses archetypes that I work with, Kali, which is just an archetype or a metaphor of the feminine energy that is the warrior and sexual energy. And so if I do a mantra or a chant, Om Krim Kali, Om Krim Kali, Om Krim Kali. If I do that over and over and over, I am creating friction, frequency, and vibration that is causing matter to move, to come together, to manifest my intent or desire. Sound is essential. And whether you have drums or you're using your voice, sound is essential when working sorcery. This is why, even when they Hollywoodize it, movies like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, there's always a chant or incantation being done, whether it's Expelliarmus or whatever else, is because that vibration or frequency is manipulating matter, antimatter, or subatomic and atomic energy. And you are the consciousness that's directing the work. So understand, when we work this sorcery, we're working it as you being the master, the God consciousness for the religious spooky people that manipulates or alters your physical or objective universe. Vibration of sound is a central part in the well-being of humans or nearly any living thing. It is commonly believed that plants grow at a higher rate when music is played around them. Yes, and more scientific studies have been done to verify that fact. Humans grow excited around music, and it can bring a higher sense of elevation. For example, our drumming rituals that we do once a month in Miami. And while I'm on that subject and we're doing rituals in Miami, we in Central Florida, Orlando, the Orlando metro area, even on the coastal area of Daytona to Melbourne and Palm Bay, or even on the Gulf Coast in the Central Florida area of Tampa, if there's anybody that's listening to these videos in Orlando, Tampa, Daytona area, contact myself, Ravananun at Outlook.com. That is RAVANANUN at Outlook.com. Once again, that's Ravananun at Outlook.com. Or you can go reach me through Dark Occultist 99 on my Google Plus page, so that we can get together and start having rituals up here. And the Miami family will come up here, and we'll all have a big ritual here, and then we can alternate, go back and forth in the respective areas. If you want to have classes and you want myself or Brother Beniti and myself to come up, he'll come up from Miami, we can do classes here once a month. Contact myself and let me know if you're out there listening and you want to get further information. So, in drumming rituals, that vampiric energy, that vampire is able to absorb that energy and empower themselves. And that energy that is so high and climactic, that state is fueled so strongly that it will propel you even to higher states of consciousness when you absorb it. Now, this energy, when absorbed, can also be utilized to heal others. It's not just to absorb and fucking make yourself the shit and you the fucking master and you eating shit up and you just absorbing like you the fucking shit. Nah, you can also use that energy as you absorb it, have a high increased level of it. You can utilize that to heal people at the same time. It's your choice how you work it, but you can work it. Now, what is essential in the dark sorcery and vampiric path is that your kundalini is awakened by the vibration and focus of sound, which as a result stirs the mind and conscious imagination. In this act, in the form of invocations, you are calling forth the power within. This is why sound is essential in dark sorcery, because you are then activating your kundalini. If you learn through hard work, discipline, how to cultivate that energy, the activation of the kundalini through the sound, it can fuel your work even further and alter your state of consciousness and expand your consciousness to a higher level. So, as a vampire, it is not just absorbing and taking energy from people. It is taking energy from everything and anything around you to improve and increase your power, but it also can be utilized to help other people. Now, be wise in who you help, because not everybody, just because they have a sob story, is somebody you should help. Some of that energy is fucked up and counterproductive for you. So you have to be wise in your selections. But understand this. You can utilize it in many different ways. Now, this also connects to Sith. The Sith, which is the, I should say, mythological characters created by George Lucas in the Star Wars saga, has its basis in truth and is connected to the order of Set, Satuh, Sut of ancient Kemet, and is connected to the Brotherhood, the Dark Brotherhood throughout time, and is connected to the Gede of the Voodoo or Voodoo pantheon, and that energy, those archetypes, and that working, when utilized properly, you will see that all this shit connects. This is all one big hodgepodge of work. So when you work and understand Sith, Seth, Set, Sut, Sutuh, you understand the different perspectives utilized as a black adept on a left-hand path. You realize that they're all interconnected. You can utilize all of them. The order or the brotherhood or the priesthood of Set, Satuh, dealt with a lot of vampiric sexual sorcery and isolated consciousness. It learned the secrets of how to utilize the dark energy, dark matter, subconscious manipulation to affect change within yourself and cause a change in your objective universe. So when you understand the Sith, you understand that the Sith are all about empowerment. They're about empowering themselves to become even more powerful by facing their fears, their doubts, insecurities, traumas, pains, mastering, utilizing, and overcoming any obstacles to become a master over self. This is what this work is all about. It's not just about the fancy trinkets and the cars and things that we can gain in our life, and our workings can bring results for that. That's a small part. It's about becoming that master over yourself, being that master, that God over self. This is what this working is all about. This Thursday, we're going further into the Sith, Part 2. Stay tuned to Awakening Universal Minds on TalkShoe.com at 9 p.m. And be sure to check out my other videos on Dark Occultist 99 on YouTube. Stay tuned. See y'all next time. Peace.